Yes,
Yeah, back in. Correct.
like
Nice.
we took a commercial break.
Yeah, man. Correct. Yeah, yes, yeah. So we were talking about the whole concept of the soca music spreading its wings and stuff in terms of
Yes.
from an international context. And I mean, I can definitely say that, as you would have known, most carnivals, festivals would have started in what we would call our traditional diaspora markets. So places where we know you definitely get your Caribbean diaspora, whether it's Miami Carnival, Labor Day, you know. But I would say in the last, for sure, for the last 10, 12, 15 years, we're definitely seeing a wider expanse of carnivals. Now you have Atlanta Carnival. You have we had done a show in Washington, D.C.
DC, yeah.
Yeah, DC back. So they had one. You have shows. Marshall actually has launched Hollywood Carnival.
Hollywood, yes, I've been to Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah. So you're definitely seeing that the music, the artists, are definitely spreading out in terms of the places where they're going to perform and stuff. So you're beginning to see wider audiences as well. When I was with Ruby, because of him and Kevin Little at the point in time as well, too, as you know, both of their songs were pretty big songs. Kevin Little,
Oh yes.
in particular, yes. So with Turn Me On and Tempted to Touch, all of a sudden there was a whole new audience that was now being turned on to us,
Right.
this style of music. Rupi actually had a strong Latin following.
Yes.
Shows that we would do, and we would do
What?
shows in like in
What? From
some
your perspective,
some
right?
obscure states like Alabama and
Right,
Indiana and
yeah, like
stuff.
in the middle of the
Yeah, man, it's
Central
crazy.
America.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Like in the South. Yeah.
Yes. So, through doing promotions and tours with the label and stuff, we started to see that, hey, there are pockets of folks in these markets who like the music, who are interested
Yes.
in music and stuff.
So in Alabama, how many people would come out to a soca event that you
I mean, we had
played
done
it?
a couple college tours. So rather
Wow.
maybe like over spring break or whatever you, and I mean, you talking 4 or 5 thousand kids,
Yes.
because of the fact that the music has such crossover elements to it, because it's soca, but there was some Spanish influence in his music as well, to a little bit of dance hall. So we would do festivals with Jamaican dancehall artists, or like maybe reggaeton artists and stuff like that.
Right.
So, we were really getting exposed to a wide demographic, So it really, those were for me the very pivotal points that showed me we had something to offer that the world wanted to hear. Very, very often you come from home, we come from small islands, so sometimes our thinking is that, okay, we may not value what we do as being special, but when you step out into the world and you travel and you see how people respond to your music, our music.
Oh yeah, every time.
Dude, and as
Every
we
time.
can see, within the last 5-6 years, soca music is in pop circles in every which way format.
Yes.
From Justin Bieber to Drake to Ariana Grande to Major Lazer. I mean, it's
Oh, yes.
everywhere, So,
But how do we, what I've been thinking about a lot is, how do we really get to brand it? How do we really get that genre on Apple or any of the major
Correct.
software
it needs
distribution?
to be a movement, because
Yeah.
I tell folks all the time, it's fantastic that we have Marshall and we know he's the biggest soca artist in the world, but a genre can't exist on just him.
On just him, right? Exactly.
No genre can be propped up on one particular artist.
Right.
So it needs to be, a movement. Marshall, Kies, Banji, Patrice, Allison Hyde. It needs
Yes.
to be a movement, and for me, a movement in terms of songs as well, too, that speak
Right.
to people on a global level.
Right, exactly.
It's-
Yes.
Yeah. So, things that relate to folks in their everyday life. So yes, you'll always write songs from a diasporic perspective. So you always have the jam, or you know, you have your jam tune bumper. You know, those are things that relate to us, that connect to us as Caribbean people.
Right.
Yes, but we've
But we
got
have
to
to appeal
expand our lyrical content now to
lyrical
how
content.
can we get this feel good, uplifting energy vibes of soca to be able to connect with people on their everyday normal wave. When they hear a tune, they're drawn in by the rhythm and the infectiousness, but then they hear a message that can encourage them if they're down, you know,
You
what
know,
have you. Cause yeah,
I feel like with soca, you know, our area that we're responsible for in music, especially across, you know, borders,
yeah,
should always be telling a story or describing how to feel nice,
correct,
whether you're going into a party or you're on
correct,
vacation,
yeah,
or you know how the music make you feel.
yeah,
And
of
you know, I
course.
feel like
Love songs.
that,
I mean, you can
yes,
talk about, yeah, of course, love songs, relationship. Even, I mean, this may even seem funny, but the fact that you have so many folks that live in cold climates, and then you know in winter, then people like, you know, it's cold, the days are shorter, it's darker, so your
right,
mood tends to maybe, you know, not be as bright. You know, you turn on our kind of music, man. It
turn
gives you
on
energy, it
exactly.
brightens up, changes your mood. You know, yeah, man, for sure,
We should be
definitely.
taking advantage of, you know. So when I was up there living in Alaska, it was dark a lot, you know,
Of course.
and you know, it was dark, you know, 90% of the day, you know,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's the perfect time because you know, you know, you could hide and whine, you know,
Yeah.
you can,
I like that.
you know, it's party vibes, you know, you can start party
Yeah.
vibes, you know, it's not like, you know, for the more shy people, right, that don't want to be
Yes, correct.
dancing like they did when they come and visit the Caribbean or whatever, you know,
Yeah,
they
correct.
could, you know, they get to do it in a conservative way because you find that, you know, America is very conservative in some ways,
Oh
you
yeah, for
know,
sure. Yeah, definitely.
especially when it comes to culture and
Yes.
expressing yourself in front of
Yes.
everybody, which
Of course.
is, you know, it's kind of weird because other stuff they may do here, you know, would seem that like it's very outlandish, you know.
Yeah,
So,
it's
but
true.
when it comes to that part, which is a huge part of enjoying soca, which is whining and you know and jamming to it, um, a lot of people just you know they just don't jump into that right away.
Yeah, correct.
So,
Definitely.
you know, for me, when I EDM is a good way for us to
Oh yes,
you
that's
know
another very very good
to
way to
jump
put it.
on that, you know,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
so kind of like where there's a festival like that, you know, you kind of come, you know, you could probably try to find the same artist to mix it with
Yes, to
Caribbean,
pair it
you know,
to pair it with. Yes, correct.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
and dancehall because you know you've been traveling a lot, right? And I'm pretty sure you've seen like the roots, like Cali roots.
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
You see how huge that is, right?
Yeah, of course. It's huge, man.
And man, you know, I feel like it would be just as easy for us to have soca like that.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure. For sure.
especially you
Yeah.
know, especially here in the Pacific Northwest where I am. You know,
Yeah. Correct. And
you
I
know,
mean even one step further too. I think very often down here our minds have been primarily just so locked on North America all the time. But the
right?
reality is that most of the people in the world don't live in North America.
That's true.
So it is to be able to branch out, even in terms of our thinking and our scope, in terms of being able to get soca music and collaborations with Afrobeat artists, with
Yes.
artists out in Europe, with artists out in Asia. Listen, right? Rupi was big in Japan.
Oh
Rupi
yeah.
sold most of his albums in Japan.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
when Tempted to Touch came out, Ruby did like maybe 150, 200,000 units in Japan alone.
Wow.
Yeah. Because their culture is very interesting. They like a lot of bright colors. they like a lot of, I don't want to say quirky for want of a better word, but they like a lot of gimmick stuff that,
Yes, yes. Stuff that
yeah.
has
So
its own. They like to personify stuff. You know.
yes, definitely,
I've been
definitely.
so I've been able to go there a lot actually.
Oh, yeah.
You
So
know,
I
so I know
find that
exactly.
that stuff took off. That stuff took off really, really good. So I think it's important for us to be looking in the traditional places where we wanted to take it, but let's think global. I mean, we here in the Caribbean, we got Brazil right next door. I've been
Right.
privileged to be in, but that's one of the biggest places in the world. So you've got the South
Yes.
American continent. Like I said, you've got Europe. I would love to be able to.
You know, so here in Seattle, there's a huge Brazilian community. You know, and
Yeah.
I had an event one time, and one of my friends, you know, he's in that community where his wife is, so he had her bring a bunch of them, you know, and they were like, "Well, this music sounds like our music, but this is not
Of
our music," you
course,
know.
yes,
So, you
definitely.
know, there's kind of, you know, that you have to break down that wall a little bit, you know, and
Yeah, man,
maybe
for sure. Sure.
invite a Brazilian DJ and invite a soca DJ,
Yeah,
invite a
definitely.
Brazilian perform because you know when they start talking about carnival, we start talking about carnival, right?
Yeah,
And then
that's
it
right.
becomes a competition instead of a collaboration, you know.
Collaboration. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean,
So
I've been blessed. I was in Nigeria the end of 2016, and again, the same thing there. The Barbados government, the Ministry of Culture, actually has
yes,
been developing a lot of good ties with the African governments. So there are cultural relationships being built with Ghana. So I believe going forward, I mean, COVID would have put things a little bit on a pause, but I believe going forward, you're going to see a bit more cultural extension because there are avenues that have been opened up to us as artists in
oh
terms of
yes,
making connections there. And having had, we had Afro B and can't remember the name of the other artists who came down from my show. Man, those guys are itching. They love the
you love
stuff.
it. Oh
Love the
yes,
stuff. So we're looking to be able to build on those kind of connections to be able
man,
to spread it out.
Bajans, man, Bajans and Barbados. I feel like in the throughout the Caribbean, besides Jamaica, they really, you know, put a lot behind the culture, you know,
Yeah.
and you know,
Trying to,
trying
man.
to
Trying to. Yeah.
yeah, and trying to get people to either come to Barbados or you know just you know getting the artists to go in the different places so people can get familiar with it, you
Yeah,
know.
correct.
Trinidad, not so much, you know. So I mean, I'm from Trinidad, you're from Barbados, and I could tell you,
Trinidad has become my third home.
yeah. And man,
I
you know, I
know
love
I know north, south, east, west.
right. Where's your first place? So where do you go and eat when you in Trinidad? Your
um,
first place.
well, we stay in Cascade. We've been in Cascade last 3 4
Nice,
years.
nice.
So any place on the avenue.
Yeah. Let me
Um,
tell you this. The first time I went to Barbados, I was I think 13 years old, you know, and we had a friend there. He owned a bar, and that's the first time I drank Hennessy.
oh wow.
Yeah. He was like, come on, man, you have to drink, you have to take a drink, you have to drink some Hennessy, you have to drink some whiskey or something like that. He
I
said, you
like
know.
the Bajan accent,
Yeah.
right?
And man, yeah. So I love Barbados. I love the music. Um, yeah, you guys. I like the vibe. I really like King Bubba,
Baba,
and
yeah, man. Yeah,
I really
good
like
vibes.
you know Crossfire,
Oh yeah, of
um,
course, of course, of course.
all
Oh,
that. You know, Allison.
I've been very blessed to work with Spice and Company as well too. I mean, I've been
Yes, yes.
connected with
Oh,
like,
that's what I was gonna ask you. So
yeah,
it seems like Spice and Company, they're complex to me. To me, it seems like the music for them would be complex. Am I right?
yes, to an extent, yes, and their sound is very specific also as well too. But we have so much fun on stage, right?
Yes.
The energy in that band is crazy. And I had to say, just take a step back and look at things. I would have never thought. I've been blessed to work with three of the biggest soca artists to come out of the region. All soca, but all different sounds. Because Marshall is one sound, Rupee is one sound, Spice is one sound. All soca music, but different styles of production, different methods and styles of writing and stuff. And I had to say it's crazy growing up as a little guy, as a little boy, watching Spice and Company on TV, watching those music videos. I mean, they blazed the trail in the region for a long time. I mean,
Yes.
they're one of the bands that made it global, and to get
Right.
the opportunity to be able to play with them and to travel with them. I have been working with them for the last 10 years, man. It's a blessing. I'm thankful. And that it is rare to be able to play with a band where when they start singing song or they start to play the songs, the audience is singing every line. There is
Every word.
yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. It's like every song in a Spice set is a hit song, and they have preserved their sound so well over the
Yes.
years. So it's very,
Man,
very cool. But
I really love to hear, I love to hear live. I love to hear Worky live.
oh yeah, man, bad tune.
God.
Listen, those records are timeless records. Those records
Yes.
will never get old. It's like I tell folks, if you go to any kind of soca event or what have you, there are certain songs you will always hear. You'll always hear Worky. You'll always hear Conga Line. You'll always hear
Right.
Pump Me Up. Like timeless records that don't ever have a shelf life on them. I mean, just well written, well produced songs. You know what I mean? And
So
it's a pleasure to be able to
could
work
you
with those
name
artists.
like three songs that, make you feel one in your spirit with with everything, with the whole, you know, feel and the arrangement and everything
Stuff. Specifically with what? With Marshall or just in general?
in general? Yeah.
Um, wow. Three of my favorite songs that I really enjoy. Let's see. You're
Arrangement, full spirit, just you embody it. You know what I mean?
I like I like fast wine. I like fast wine musically. I like the lyric because once again, I like stuff that has storyline. I like stuff that can talk about relationships, intimacy and stuff. Because like I said, soca in some contexts has been given kind of like a general style where, like I said, it's all gonna be on bumper desk, grind down, jump down, or what have you. But it's really nice when songs can be written that don't necessarily have to go that route, but just talking about beauty, just talking about enjoying your spouse or your partner or what have you, and the beauty of enjoying life. And I think that song is a fantastically written song, and I just love like all of the elements in it. To me, just came together so well. So it's definitely one of my most enjoyable songs to play on stage. Every time I play, I always think of wifey. So
Right.
um, so I like that in terms of Marshall. Um, Another arrangement that I really like. Let me go with Spice. Spice had there are two Guns. I always like Guns. Guns is one of my favorite records, and there's a song called Make Noise as well too, which has like an interesting it's like a soca thing, but still has a little bit of a zouk kind of French
Yes, the
vibe,
zoo.
because they were known for doing stuff like if you listen to Spice Records,
Yes.
you always hear horns, very prominent horns, and they like to do a mixture of soca with a little bit of French. Because funny story on just as a seg on that, there was a time when there was a French drummer who was playing with them for maybe about a year or two, and he started to influence a little bit of their sound by bringing some of the zouk and some of the
Yes.
kassav kind of element. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So those are another two that I really like. That great vibes and great energy, and use a little bit of the Afro-Caribbean and then the Afro-French, you know, and kind of have all those elements work together to still create soca, you know.
I
So
think for
those are two.
live, that's definitely my favorite. That mixture that you're just talking about, you know,
Yeah.
for live
Oh,
performances.
yeah. I'm telling you.
Uh, the,
Actually, we do a little bit of that in fast wine towards the end. So again,
right.
there's a common thread going through. Yeah. So those are two, and let me see. One more. Uh, one more that we do in my show that I
Someone said interesting story about Zook and Spice. Thanks for that, Melvin.
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. Sure. Kels. Yeah,
Yeah.
Kels, what's up, man?
I like
Yeah.
WCK. It's WCK, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Funny story there too. Their keyboard player used to play with us with Groupie Cornell. He's one of my real good boys. Real good boys. It's
wow.
always vibes working with him, man. And as you know, they would have some Dominican producers did Family.
Okay.
You know, so which was again a nice mixture of the bam 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 bam
Right.
bam 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 bam, you know, of the zouk mixed in with the soca. So the vibes on that is nice. I would have never envisioned that bouillon and with the energy stuff, because sometimes the bouillon can be fast, but then you get some of it that's a little bit slower, kind of like chick, kind of like groovy. But
Right.
I thought the combination of that and then Skinny and Bunty and Marshall in terms of the energy, mad.
That man, when that came out, I was like,
Woo! Crazy. It was raps. Listen,
yeah.
we were in. Listen, I'll give you a quick story there. We were in rehearsal. Marshall was getting ready to launch that song. That was a Friday evening, and he was supposed to be on radio to launch that song at 6 o'clock. Marshall was in the studio at 5:30 p.m.
Wow.
Still finishing up some elements on that song. It's crazy.
Wow.
Right? It's
Man,
still
let me tell
finishing
you.
up some stuff.
Let me tell you what's crazy. Let me tell you.
Sorry. It wasn't Family. Sorry. It was Soca Kingdom.
Soca Kingdom.
Yeah,
okay.
he was literally. We were at rehearsal and stuff.
Yeah.
He was supposed to come by rehearsal after he went to the radio, and he sends a voice note to us. He's like, "Fellas, I supposed to be launching at 6, but I here in the studio doing some final tweaks." I mean, half an hour before he has to go live with the song, you know. But when that song landed as well, too, Kingdom was crazy. From the time we heard that
Yes.
rehearsal, we was like, "This song is a rap."
Man, so what I was gonna say is I was gonna ask you that question about what was the most time crunched type of thing that you had to work on, So that's crazy. The other crazy
That and Marshall Mondays. Every Marshall Monday.
time crunch.
Marshall Monday is the hardest show in the world to play.
Gosh,
If you can play Marshall Monday, every other show, because people, as you would see comments in my videos, I've asked, don't you get tired? I was like, guys, we do Marshall Monday. Marshall Monday is a 5-hour plus show every year, and we play for everybody. Like, if you can do that, anything else is a walk in the park.
So you're telling me? So I need you and an Ableton guy, and I can bring any artist up.
Yeah, because I mean we've pretty much. I can't think of any soca artists in the region that we have not played for. Which works so good for us in different contexts as well too, because very often artists have to come on shows and they just have to send us the set list. We don't have to rehearse because we know everybody's tunes and they know that we know their tunes. So that works out really good for us also as well too. Very often we get calls to back other artists and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, it's Marshall's band. Okay, cool. Yeah, we just send them the show. They may come to sound check just to finalize some things, but it makes things easy for us as well too." So, but yeah, Marshall Monday is
the tippity top,
dude.
So
you can
makes
handle
it
that.
That
You
makes
can
you the
handle
toughly tickly
anything.
top drummer in the world.
in,
In the world of soca.
in terms of stamina, yes. Yeah, man,
That's awesome,
that show
man.
is serious because it's that and it's the rehearsals as well. The rehearsals are long and intense, but when you see that show and you see,
How long are the rehearsals each? So you just get a
well,
song,
we
right?
are,
You just walk me through it. You just got a song that you gotta learn, right?
yeah.
How long is it gonna take before you can implement that into the regular show and
The
swap
live
out
show.
whatever song?
Um, all right. Well, yeah. Let me kind of walk you through our formula for like um, rehearsals for Carnival. So music comes out. They send all the songs to us and stuff, and we pretty much just get sketches. So we know um, we got the grooves, we got the structures of the actual songs. But knowing how Marshall is, we are going to try to give him some options in terms of options for intros. Because the other thing with him too, you realize when he performs, very rare does he go from 100 down to zero. He likes to have gears. So he
Right.
would, as he likes to call it, he's gonna gear down from fifth gear into fourth gear, into third, into first. But very, very rare would he go from fifth right down to one. So those are things that make sense to us musically because we know we need to have 3 or 4 different elements that can allow the song to go from point A to point B to point B to point C and so forth. And we pretty much do that for every song. So by the time he comes into rehearsals, we have options for intros to songs, how we're gonna link the songs, and then it's just for him to be able to say, all right, yeah, this ain't working, or yes, let's try this. The truth is as well, it probably takes a show or two just in terms of feeling out, the new material as it's coming in. This works good here. We may want to move this to somewhere else. Something gets a little bit more vibes connected to this song. So usually I would say by maybe the second or third show, it's pretty settled and we are pretty much doing the every night show is fine. For Marshall Monday, like I said, because it's such a long show, we are trying to work out the different segments and sections of the actual show, and then we're pretty much running it in chunks. The grand rehearsals are the longest rehearsals because that's like the Sunday night and the Saturday night where we run all of the other guest artists, and then the Sunday night we're running because then we have to deal with visuals, we have to deal with narrations, we have to deal with dancers. It is a full production, as you can
When
see.
do you sleep?
On the day after, Tuesday, we do nothing. We sleep for the entire. We usually wake up on Wednesday.
Wow.
Serious. It is. I'm telling you, man, it's great. Once that show is done, it's like, all right, fellas, yeah, we are good to go from here. Everything else is just icing now. Yeah, man. The very first year that I did it was probably the hardest year because it's my first year doing it. The intensity and being new and trying to remember all this stuff and it was things.
So you guys are like the NBA, It's like
I'm telling you,
different
yeah, I'm
leagues,
telling you.
you know.
And like I said, then on top of that, remember those are sketches. When Marshall takes that stage, guys, you gotta watch the crazy man and just swing. Just go. So yeah, it's spontaneous, but as I like to say sometimes, it's structured chaos. There is structure that is going on in there, but you have to be able to respond quick. You have to be listening well, and you gotta feel and watch his body language. His body language gives you a lot of clues as to what he's gonna do next. And that makes it a little bit easier you're not quite sure, but you're standing on your toes up rather than on your heels. Once you're on your toes, you can sprint. If you're on your heels, then you kind of react.
Yeah, you're stuck. Yeah.
So, yeah. So we are always there at the edge, just waiting. Yeah, go. Okay, no, stay back up.
Boom, boom, boom,
It's
boom,
a
boom,
it's
boom.
it's a great experience though. It's unlike any
So,
other gig that I've done.
this is a question I had. So,
Sure.
what is the main um, not chords, but the main um, you know temperature or that you guys stay at? What's the
Oh, in terms of speed,
well, not only speed, but I don't know why it's jumping out of my head right now. Oh, scale. What's the main scale that you guys maintain? Is it a main scale for each, show, or does it change throughout the show?
oh, it it can change. Yeah, it. I mean, we have a general structure around what we do, but sometimes it can change depending on where we are playing. So,
Okay.
uh, yeah, like there are certain places where we go where we may play stuff that may be a little bit older, just depending on the demographic of the audience. They may like particular songs in that particular demographic, range, region, or whatever.
What's the main? So what's the main? What's the main scale that causes the most bacchanal? So like in Trinidad Carnival, right? What would you guys kind of stay at, like F and a G kind of thing, or like
Oh, varies again. Yeah, that is just probably really dictated by the particular vibe. Like for example, there's a few songs that we did this year that Travis World did for Marshall, which happened to be in like the key of C sharp. So like Boss Wine. It's there were like 3-4 songs that we did in a medley. Those were all in like C sharp. But
okay,
again, keys vary. Keys vary.
yeah,
But something that we try to do sometimes, especially for
yeah,
Marshall
it's the keys.
Monday.
I was saying the scale, the keys.
Yeah. That's all right. Sometimes for Marshall Monday, we try to Marshall may be hearing things or may want to link songs sometimes in keys. So we usually have a list of tunes and we have the tempos and the keys, and he's thinking about his
Nice.
storyline to go from one song to the next. So he may ask, hey, he may be singing a particular song, then he says, wait, one more time is in that same key, right? Yeah, okay, so maybe we could link one more time. Maybe we could link Dance with You, because that's in the same key as one more time also as
Right.
well. So little things like that would more so happen for a Marshall Monday where there's more time to kind of build a story. For the every night show, it's just gonna be we have a structure that we're working with once carnival is over. We have the new songs in, so that's gonna be pretty much running for the whole year, just with changes depending on if he comes to a sound check with a new song or new songs, or he may just throw things back in. But the good thing, because the repertoire is so wide and we are pretty familiar, he can put things in. There are times we are backstage and we're making changes to the show, literally before we walk out. That
Wow.
could be songs, that could be sections, that could be there's an idea that he had that he wanted to start with a different intro. So the Ableton guy is just cutting up stuff. Okay, so we use this, we are Bram. So once again, there's just a
Yeah.
way that we move it. Yeah. So you, like I said, you have to be able to react and to be able to learn stuff fast. That happens a lot for Marshall Monday too. There are times
Right.
that we've left the stadium the Monday, we go home just to rest before the show. Marshall opens up a chat. Fellas, I was thinking about changing a couple of things in the show. So there's not going to be any rehearsal. It's just a discussion, voice notes. This is what we're going to do, bram, and then we execute. So, and once again, that is a big compliment to the guys that are in the band, because it is not, as I like to say, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
there
Yes. Yes.
are, there are things that are simple to, musically it may not be something that's complex, but to execute it the way that he wants to execute it, especially without rehearsing, you got to be able to be comfortable with that.
There's a bit of, man, when I think about the whole thing and the way you explained it to me, you know, there's some serious elements,
For
I
sure.
feel like there's there's
For
like
sure.
divine intervention even.
I'm big. I'm telling you, man. Listen, very and truth is, our musical director, I mean, does a fantastic job. I mean, very rarely do we have to verbally say things.
Right.
It's just it's like all the guys in the band are skilled at what they do, but there are no egos. So
Right. Yes, yes.
if one person wants to take the lead, we'll just follow. If I hear Darian playing a particular phrase to capture my shot, I can jump on it because I know it's something that he will respond to. If it is that the bass player kind of felt in a moment to do something, and it's easy. It's not like we have to be nah. For rehearsals, we made it, when things are new and we're trying to work out what we're building in terms of the songs. But once we on stage, we following him and we just vibing off of each other. And again, that just comes from the familiarity of playing with each other, being comfortable with each other, and not just musically, but we get along well. All the men cool. There's no vibes. We
Yeah.
easy. So that to me is a big part of the chemistry as it relates to us being able to make, and not just us. I think that's a big thing as it relates to making music. Period. I think that the chemistry amongst the musicians and the artists and stuff helps to make the music even better.
Man, that's amazing. And are you guys gonna be, doing any like teaching to, just like leadership in music, organizational leadership in music? I think
Yeah,
that
for
there's,
sure.
just by what you're telling me, there's so many elements
Oh, it's
of
white.
leadership,
It's
of time
white.
management,
Yeah,
of strategy, all
yeah,
these different things that
yeah. Telling you.
you know you guys could do a master class. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure, for sure. Stay tuned.
stay
There's a
tuned.
yeah, there's a possibility that we may do one before summer is up.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
stay
That's
tuned.
awesome.
Yeah,
All
definitely,
right, all right,
stay tuned.
man. Well,
Because as you would have seen, there is the physical side of playing, which is one side
yes,
of playing, but then there are all of the elements, all of the other elements, the preparation, the psychological side, being able to understand how to build shows, how to build a set.
the
It's crazy.
one thing I've learned with music, man, this music is definitely good and it's bad. You know, the
Correct.
elements that the spiritual elements that come, with
Yeah.
it,
Correct.
and it's a really weird thing. I found that for myself, I've had to pray a lot. So the deeper that I've gotten into music or putting on events and doing whatever, you know,
Correct.
it's about really holding on to yourself, really getting spiritual and having a good foundation.
Yes,
Because
sir.
I remember I
I
used
believe in
to
that.
listen. Huh?
I believe in that. My whole life is built
Yeah.
on that, brother. I'm telling you.
Because I remember I used to listen to so much music, right? Compiling music and getting sets ready and stuff. And you'd get like fatigue. I never knew that I could get fatigue from listening to so much music,
Of
right?
course. Yeah, man.
Where
For
your brain
sure.
is just like it's
Yeah.
almost as though your brain is like throwing up, right? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't want to
Correct.
hear
Yeah. It's
anything else.
tired. Yeah.
It's done,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and you really have to. That's why you have to meditate and find yourself and be like,
Yeah, of course. And there's something that I like to do because even as a musician playing, sometimes it's listening to so much stuff to learn it that you have to have moments where you just have time where, or you have to balance it out with times where you're not just listening to stuff for performance, but you're listening stuff to enjoy it, to
right, right, right.
relax, also as well, because like I said, sometimes you could be so much in the work in the mode of preparing for shows or recording records, or that you don't have those moments where you can just have easy listening music where you just enjoy stuff that you're listening. Yes, it will all still be helping my musicality as a musician, but I'm not listening to it to have to reproduce it for somebody. It's just therapeutic for me, you know.
Right.
You know. So
Man, I think one of the things that I would want to do is get into a studio with, you know, drummers and, you know, like the whole arrangement, you know, and
yeah,
just off of my own thoughts and creation, come up with something. You know, I think
yeah, for sure.
everyone that loves music, if you really love music, you should do that. You know, like
Yeah, man, definitely.
just, you know, arrange something just off of how you feel now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel that, that in itself.
and just to watch the organic process of how
Right.
ideas come and how inspiration comes, whether it's from a lyrical perspective, whether it's from a musical perspective, and how the two things marry. You know, it's an incredible process. Very much like we said before in terms of the skill of it. You know, it's like a surgeon going to work. It's like a lawyer going into court to put his case in front of the jury to be able to get a particular verdict. You know, it's
Right.
like LeBron James going on court. You know, all of it is art. All of it requires a particular skill and hours of putting into it. I mean, it's a
Hours,
science.
yes.
Yeah, man.
And
It's
science,
a
yes.
science, definitely.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to become a pro
Yeah,
in anything that you do.
to
You
become
know,
a pro
so
at it.
I'm pretty sure you put in about 100,000 already.
It's true. And counting.
I'm counting. I'm counting.
Yes, sir. And counting.
Well, I'm trying to put in my hours with, you know, with Seattle Soca to make it bigger and, you know,
Yeah,
be
man.
a platform for people to learn more about it. You know, I'm gonna continue to promote it here.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
well,
Good
you know,
vibes. I
use the
love it, man. It's
technology.
great. Yeah,
You know,
I would
so
love to be able to come up to Seattle, man.
yes,
I've
yes,
been to LA, but I would love to come up to Seattle. It's a beautiful place, man.
it's beautiful.
Beautiful,
It's
man.
really beautiful. Yeah, and you know, right now it's just such a mess, everything. You know, but um, I have a good feeling about a year from now it'll be
Yeah,
good. You know, so
things would have settled and kind of be
yeah,
getting back to
get back.
how
Yeah,
how they were before.
but by that time, when I might be in, I don't know, in Sweden or Antarctica or something.
Oh, which will be good because that means that the genre and the music is going global for sure.
Right, right. Well, cool, brother. Man, again, you know, thanks for doing this. You know, thanks for
Yeah,
going through
sure, man.
the journey
Absolute
and
pleasure.
yeah,
Absolute pleasure.
man. And
Absolute.
you know, people could go back and check it out and everything. And yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
Good vibes.
Appreciate
Pleasure,
it.
man.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me, man. Anytime you want, just like it's always
It's
good
your
to be able to share and to share experiences and stuff. And every time we
cool.
share, we're always learning also as well, So
We gotta try to get boy on here, man.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. No problem. No problem. We'll see. We'll see. We'll make some calls.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, appreciate it, brother.
Bless up, man. And
Bless
shout
up.
out to everybody that came in and gave some love. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Seattle Soca. Go follow. Go check out. Stay in touch with what is going on with Seattle Soca. What's going on in the US, specifically in Seattle. And catch the vibes. Pleasure, my bro.
Bless. I'll get yeah, a beat for that one.
Yeah, man. Nice.
All right, later.
Vibes. Later, man.
All right.